Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Jack's Reading Corner. I am Jack. And I'm kind of filming this day off reading video a little early because this is kind of essentially what it is. The same thing. It's just tomorrow's not my day off. I'm filming this on Sunday and then I'm working tomorrow morning as well into the afternoon. I'll be leaving right at the afternoon. So I guess I will be doing some reading when I get home tomorrow. I don't know how much because, when I get off work, I'm, really tired and sometimes I just don't feel like it. But I thought, like I said, do kind of the same thing I would do on those videos. And just talk and chat about what I'm reading. So, I'm a little, I keep trying to kind of set a TBR again, but it's there's so many books that I've started reading, and then I'm not in the mood, and I wonder if there's something else I'm more excited about in the moment, so I jump to that. And, I'm trying to control it, but every time I think about it, then I stare at my bookshelf, oh my god, I gotta read that one, oh, I wanna read that one, ooh, I wanna start that one now. So it's and I keep saying, okay, I gotta focus on the ones that I've been in the middle of and get more books finished, especially since, I want to get more books finished before I start going to the library again, for instance. Because then I prioritize the library books because I want to get at least one of those finished by the end of the 2-week time frame before I have to recheck out these other books. I want to be able to return at least one of them. So today I read a little bit of, oh, crap, I think I left them over there. Sorry. Oh wait, no, I didn't leave them over there, I left them. Oh, no wait, no, they're here. That's right. Reminds me, I gotta get all fixed. Okay, sorry. But I did start back up in reading The Conjuring of Light by V.H. Schwab, which is the third book in the Shades of After trilogy. And I never know what I really can say about when I'm in the middle of a book series and I'm reading the second or the third book or the fourth book, whatever. But basically, as stakes have really gotten high, and they're really in this bad predicament in this story, and the force of black magic has shown up and is trying to take over Red London, is all I'm gonna say. But if I remember, I'll probably have to put a little note that there might be spoilers in this video for certain books. So I guess what I need to do, what I should probably do, is make a list of books that there might be spoilers. So a lot of, so I was gonna get rid of this trilogy. I was gonna donate it, get rid of it as in donate it, give it to someone, give it to the Gibbons bookstore. But then I was thinking, it's only a trilogy, so it's only 3 books. So it's I'm not sure if I want to get rid of it because but I think I am going to, once I finish, I keep going back and forth with this. I think I might donate Throne of Glass to the Gibbons bookstore. I don't know yet, because I do have a group on Facebook that is about her Throne of Glass and Court of Thorns and Roses. I mean, I guess I could do what that other group did and basically make it a Sarah J. Maas group. Maybe call it Master Readers or something, But anyway, but I might donate that because that would make a really huge dent in my bookshelf. I mean, it did because it's already off my shelf. But I still like the series, and I feel bad because I do have a group devoted to the series, and people, you don't necessarily remember everything about a series. I mean, I remember TV shows and movies better than books. And then, of course, a lot of times end up finding out, if you don't remember the book that well, or you never read the book, you find out how different the books and the movies are. So it's like I'm thinking, okay, is this different in the book than in the movie? But like I said, I feel kind of bad because it's like I have that group and I feel guilty because I know I'm not very good at running groups. No, I'm really bad at it. I just get overexcited because I love creating groups on Facebook. So but I feel bad that I'm not as active in the groups I create. I mean, there's some groups I'm definitely more active than others, and I feel like if I complain because I don't get a lot of activity on those groups, but I feel like someone will call me out and say, "Well, you're not very active either, and you're in charge of the group." So I can't really say anything. I can't complain that people aren't active because I'm not very active. But anyway, every time I start reading these, they're really I get really engaged in the story. And I really like how V. Schwab, like, her chapters are really short, so you get through her books quickly. And I like how, like, I've said this before that I like romance in my stories, but I like how it doesn't dominate the story, because it's like now the romance is kind of more in the story than in the first two books. Especially with two of the main characters, Kel and Lila. Like, the romance is definitely more involved in this third book. Like, there's more moments between those two, which I like. I think they're really sweet. But Lila is such a frustrating character. She's like, oh no, she makes all these sassy remarks and stuff like that, and I feel like, and like, she doesn't want to, it's like a defense mechanism. I feel like she doesn't want to get emotionally attached, and she doesn't want to seem weak and vulnerable in someone's eyes. So it's like she pretends like she doesn't care, and she's someone who's not won't get emotional over someone, and just drives me nuts. I hate people. And I don't hate's a strong word, so I don't mean hate, but it drives me crazy, characters like that where they're just like, oh, I can't get in touch with anyone, so I'm just gonna do snarky, sassy commentary towards them and act like I don't care, when really deep down I do care, or at least I consider them a friend, if anything. But I can't show that, because it will show weakness, make me seem vulnerable. God forbid I seem a little vulnerable. But then, at the same time, there's another character in the story that likes Cal and is trying to, as Delilah put it, how'd she describe it? Get in his good graces, I think. Like, she's basically trying to flirt with him and act like innocent. And of course, Cal thinks she's completely harmless. She's just a child. And of course, Rye and Delilah know better. Know that this girl is, trying to get in his royal pants. I definitely like Delilah better than that girl. But this book is also really creepy when like there's some creepy moments with when the bad guy takes everybody over and stuff. It's just very creepy. Just like, I can really picture these people looking really like, it kind of, what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Joker. When the Joker, he has his concoctions, like in the Batman movie by Tim Burton, like it was the makeups. In the show Gotham, the Joker type character he sprays these people with this smoke type stuff that, like, I guess infects their brains a little bit, makes them a little crazy and go insane. And it's really scary. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. Like, these people are going, like, the darkness is consuming them and making them go a little insane, a little mad. I am glad that Rye defends, because his mom blames Kel for what ends up happening to Rye in the story, and it is technically Kel's fault, but of course he didn't do it deliberately. And Rye's life is on the line and everything, but he does defend Kel when his mom is angry with him for worrying about Kel, and like, she's like, it's Kel's fault this happened to you, but then Rise points out that Kel saved my life. I really like that, and I was worried that wouldn't happen. I was hoping for that to happen, and it did. So, as you can see, I'm not very far into it. I read a little chunk of it. But like I said, it's a very quick read. And I'm really hoping, because like I have to pick a book from my collection here that won't take me as long to read. Promise, some of them look like they won't take me as long to read, but then they end up taking me a long time to read. But I think I might do read some of the short stories. Like 4 Past Midnight, Stephen King's one of his collections of short stories. Like, now I'm already familiar with the first one. I know what's going to happen, so I feel like I could say that I've finished on Goodreads. I could say I finished 4 Past Midnight when I do the other short stories, because I've already read the long letters. And I can read the Library Police, although I think they're more like novellas than short stories. But anyway, so I do have to scan through my bookshelf and probably think of one that doesn't take as long to read. I mean, I do have 2 Agatha Christie, one that's an actual novel and one that's a short story collection that I could read. I finally found some at Gibbons. Anyway, today I also read a little bit more of His Majesty's Dragons. I had the first 3 books and the last book of the series, because like the last book I had found the last book at Gibbons, so I bought it. I was like, thinking, eventually I can buy the rest of the rest of the series. Unfortunately, it wasn't at Books A Million, but my mom did get it for me for Christmas last year. So I did start reading this one. I particularly started reading it. Partly what encouraged me to start reading it is because my mom in the past has said things about, have you read this book already that I bought you? So I always have that in the back of my mind. So I want to show her that I'm reading the books that she's bought me. And that's why I'm trying to make my TBR include books that I've had for a long time. Like, I've made lists of the books that I've had even before we moved here. Like, American Gods, I got around the time we were getting ready to move here. And The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King, I got that before we moved. When we were still in Maryland. Count of Monte Cristo, I have that, and that's actually right here. I've had that for a long time too, and I figured it's about time to start reading it, so I did start reading that one. Let's see, I have that. And of course, so I've got a good chunk of it read. I'm still in the middle of a chapter. I don't normally like doing that, but, this is one of those books that takes a really long time to read, unless you're used to reading this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not that hard of a read, but it does have a lot of words, a lot of description. So it's like, it does still take time to really focus and relax, but not too relaxed to the point where you're gonna fall asleep. Like, so far, I haven't read much where the characters we're still with Albert and Franz. We're still with those guys, and they're still in Rome exploring the city. They decide to check out the Colosseum, and Franz over here, they separate for a little bit, and Franz overhears a conversation between someone who he recognizes as the Sinbad the sailor he met on the Isle of Monte Cristo. And there, of course, he overhears them having he doesn't hear the exact details, but the conversation does seem a bit suspicious. And that's all. That's really all I have to report on this book. There's not much. So I do need to read it. I want to finish this chapter. I keep saying, okay, I gotta read 2 more chapters at least. 2 or 4 more chapters, and I never do because I get tired when I get home, and then I have so many other books. So I need to read that one. So back to His Majesty's Dragons, I've read a little bit where we've met the dragon Temeraire. This is basically with dragons in the Napoleonic era, and our main character is Lawrence, and he's a Navy He's a Navy man, and this dragon, when they are attacking this French ship, they come across a dragon egg and they take it onto the ship, and of course that means someone has to be the one who flies the dragon. And even though one of his crew members does draw the short straw, literally, the dragon identifies with Lawrence, who's the ship's captain. So right now, I'm at the part where they've gone back to land, Madeira specifically, and are talking to the admiral, who's a little suspicious, does not like the situation, but he's willing to accept it. And that's all really. I mean, not much else has happened. But as Jean from Bookish, I think it was Jean from Bookish Thoughts described the dragon. She described Temeraire as kind of like a dog. Like, he's like a pet dog. He's so playful and wants to explore everything. The only difference is that he will eat anything. Like, so unlike real dogs, unless they're wolves. So I guess in a way he's more like a wolf, where he's like a wild dog. And I like the story. It's just, again, it's the hard part about reading books like this is the small print. Small print makes it like, if I'm tired and my eyes are tired, then I'll have a hard time. Like, and if I'm reading small print, I might like start, then I'll lose my space and have to figure it out. And just small print can irritate me a little bit. So, and it looks like I'm almost towards this. Chapter 4 is like the second little part. Oh, if you can hear my dogs, I'm really sorry. It's just someone came to our house, so they're all excited and stuff like that. So anyway, so like I haven't read. It feels like I read a lot, but not really. I mean, of course, that's how books are. Like, even if there's a lot of words that you come to read, when you sum it up, you realize, oh, a lot has happened. And so, like, you get like halfway or more, or at least a little bit more than a quarter into it. I'm also, okay, so I did, like, when I took my trip on Friday, I did read a little bit of The Way of Kings, when our main character is Kaladin. Our main character, Kaladin, he was a soldier, and he wants to be part of the king's army. But then, the enemy, I guess, won and beat them back, and then Kaladin was sold as a slave. And then coincidentally, he ends up being taken to the king's army, but he's part of the bridge crew, as they call themselves. And those are basically the guys that carry the bridges, so I guess the soldiers can cross. And then they're also the first people to get shot at, but Kaladin, because he's experienced in this, even though they assume he isn't because he's just a slave, he's the only one that survives. And doesn't get shot at. He's able to dodge the arrows and stuff like that. And he's known as a deserter. I believe he's considered a deserter, even though, like, can't really blame him. Like, I do not get that logic in these kind of war stories where people are like giving other men such a hard time for running away from battle. It's like, do you really, can you blame them for not wanting to die? Yeah, it's great and honorable that you want to be a soldier and fight and be brave and heroic. It's admirable and everything, but at the same time, you can't fault someone for getting scared and want to run away or want to run back. It's human nature, you morons. And I just don't get when, if there's a, it's, I guess it's an honor thing or a guy thing, I don't know. But, or maybe it's just the soldier kind of thing, but it just drives me crazy when, in those kind of stories, when a guy is considered a coward because he, like, not everybody can be that brave. I mean, not everybody has the courage to stand up, and it's not an insult, and I don't mean it as an insult. I'm saying that nothing is wrong with being scared and being afraid, and unfortunately, all those words sound like an insult, especially to a guy. You know, it's just I don't get it. It's stupid. You're gonna shame someone because they don't want to die, or they're afraid to get killed. It's like, what's wrong with you? So, and then our other character, Shalyn, she was trying to still work on getting in the princess's favor, but the princess, I can't remember her name, is like, no, I don't need you. You don't have any special talents or anything. You're not worth being my apprentice or protege or whatever. And so she's continuing to try to find a way to get in her good graces, and we see that she's a really talented drawer. She has this ability with creating images and pictures and stuff like that. She's like quite the artist, essentially. And we learn, and we get a little bit of knowledge on her past. So, again, I'm progressing in this one. This is one of the ones that I might take on the cruise with me next month, and that's one of my big problems. I'm very nervous about, because I'll have to decide. I'll have to narrow it down. I probably don't want to bring too many books, because I'll have very little reading time anyway. It's hard to pick, because then I feel guilty for neglecting all my other books that I've started. So, I don't know. I have to narrow it down in some way. I still have a few weeks to go. I mean, it's only like I think the second week in May. So I still got plenty of time to think about it, but I'm also reading that one. And then, okay, so I haven't got back to Needful Things yet. I did read a few days before I left. I think I did read a little bit of Needful Things by Stephen King. Not much. Leland Gaunt still selling stuff to people and getting people to pull all these pranks on others. And of course, we know something's gonna happen that's gonna blow up in everyone's faces. And, I'm working on The Lost Queen, which it's gonna be, I believe, a trilogy. It's the first book. And in that one, I believe, that one is kind of it's about, I keep thinking that this main female character is gonna end up become Queen Mab or something. I'm not sure, but, I don't know. But I know that her brother is gonna be kind of he's gonna be Merlin eventually. So anyway, there's the war going on between their people and the Britons, and our main character is like, she wants to be a healer and everything and take care of her. She wants to be more than just someone pretty who gets married and makes babies. She wants to do a lot more than that, but of course, it's like she can't because she's a woman. This is kind of medieval set story. And right now, her father is taking them to another kingdom to stay. And of course, her brother is not too happy about that. He wants to go and fight, and he feels like they're being cowards for sitting in someone else's kingdom waiting around. So again, that's not much. And I did bring with me King of Scars with me. Um, and so far I've just I haven't read a lot. So far I basically, well, I don't know how much I can say about this. Because our okay, so Nikolai's on. If you read the original trilogy, the original Grisha trilogy, our character of Nikolai, he was infected and poisoned at the end of the second one, I think, and of Siege and Storm, and like now he's feeling the after effects of that, and it's kind of like my first thought is it's kind of like the whole werewolf thing. That's um that's what I feel like this. That's what it gives me the impression of, like the werewolf. And there's also we learn what Nina from the Six of Crows duology is doing. She's been sent on this mission by Nikolai to track down and help save all the Grisha. And then we have Zoya from the original trilogy, and she makes an appearance in the second book, Crooked Kingdom. She makes an appearance in that one along with Nikolai, and she's kind of been Nikolai's aide and helping protect his little secret. And I almost kind of ship them a little bit just from that one scene. The bickering between the two of them is kind of cute, actually. Like they do argue like an old married couple, and they're very honest with each other, and I feel like they kind of get each other. And like I said, I kind of ship them in a way. I think it'd be interesting to see the two of them together. So I did attempt. Was it this one? Oh no, it was not this one. Or was that? Maybe it was. Did I read this one all? Oh no, the one I read in the car with my cell phone flashlight was the fifth season by N.K. Jemisin. I've read a little bit of that one, the first part, and as people say, it does start in second there, and I think that's going to be throughout the first part of the book was in second person, and which is a little weird, because most books are in third or first person. There's rarely books in second person, but it was interesting. I was a little confused though. But then, so I don't know. I'm guessing that's going to be throughout the whole book, which is fine. I'm not going to be, but like I said, I can understand, as Elliot Brooks put it, it is understandable that that's going to be a little jarring for other people, but I'm cool with it, especially because I knew that it was more not because I like second person. I don't have an opinion on second person because I don't read in second person. I might have read it at least once or twice in school, but I don't really read it, so I don't really have an opinion. I don't know if I would like it or not. I was fine with what I read, but like it was a little weird to read, because you're not used to it. So I don't know how I feel about it. So far, like I said, I was fine with it, but again, it's because it's different. It's not necessarily something that you're used to reading. Sorry, my room is like right above the garage, so I can hear that's why I have that window. I have that window because Rascal has a great view of people driving by, so that's why he's always barking. So I'm hearing, I guess my mom and one of our neighbors and my dad are outside. Oh, I meant to tell them how I saw some of our neighbors, like two of our neighbors, our friends from back in Maryland that moved here, and then one of our other neighbors. Oh, I guess they came back inside. So let's see what else. Oh, I finally started rereading Malice. Oh, like I said, I need to read Clash of Kings. I haven't read that in a while. But what I'm thinking is that maybe I'll just wait until, like, this is the last season. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll bring this with me on the cruise. But once the season is over, then I will start reading again. Because I feel like it's one of these. I feel like the show and, having on-screen versions and then reading the book at the same time kind of makes a little conflicting. Like, it's like you're thinking, what's the point of reading the book? Because I'm already seeing what's on the show, and the basic stories are the same. There are differences, and I'm sorry, but I do personally believe that TV shows and movies are easier to watch than read books, because I mean, at least when it comes to these kinds of books, like these really thick, chunky books. I know that's blasphemous, but sometimes I think it's easier just to watch a TV show than, whether it's a fantasy or even a historical fiction, watch a TV show or a movie version, than sit there and take the time to read a book. But I'm also, okay, so I'm reading Malice right now, again. And the kid characters are suspecting that there's something going on. There are, like, the princesses of one of the kingdoms, one of the lands in the Banished Land, one of the kingdoms of the Banished Lands, is definitely suspecting that there's things that the adults aren't telling them, and there's a war going on. And of course, Corbin, the main one kid, 15-year-old, he's still dealing with the prejudice against the wolf and everything, and he's starting to finally mature a little bit and figure out who he is. And he has his sister Cywin. I hope I'm saying that right. He's starting to understand that he's figuring things out, that he's, starting to, he's changing. And meanwhile, the character of the Prince Nathair, he realizes he thinks he might be this chosen one that's meant to, save everybody, save the kingdom and all that. Because there are things like he's friend to the giants. He's made friends with the giants, or at least one giant, and there's other things that fit the prophecy that the Banished Lands, the people of the Banished Lands, have heard about. Although part of me keeps thinking, is it really him? Maybe it's not. Like, it feels too easy, like, too convenient. It's like, oh, of course it's him. But I'm starting to wonder, what if it was the character of Verradis? Which I think he's one of my favorites. Because he's not a prince, but I don't remember if the prophecy that has to be a literal prince. I mean, I think he's the son of a lord. But I'm wondering, what if he was the one? If he's the one the prophecy is spoken of. I think that it would be so much easier. First of all, I know that if I read it straight through and didn't take such long breaks in between readings, then yeah, I definitely would remember a lot more of the story, a lot more details. But I also think it would be help if I had someone else to talk to about this story. But again, none of my friends would, and I'm already in the middle of it, so it's not like. So if any of you guys that are familiar with John Gwynn's Malice and have read it, I would love to, discuss it with you. Although I don't know how good I would be, because again, like I said, I've taken a long break in between my last reading The Faithful and the Fallen series. That's what the original. So I read a little bit of it. I need to read more of it. This is another book that I thought about, because what I want to do is bring a big chunky book with me to on the cruise. Maybe 2 or 3 big chunky books. Like I said, though, I don't, it's not like I'll be reading a lot, but still, I would like to. Of course, the problem is, I really hope that Terry brings a book too, because I don't want, because I want to get some reading done. I love talking to Terry. Of course, she's my best friend, but I also want to. I'm bringing a book, and I want to get some reading done. So I feel like I need to definitely tell her to bring her own books with her, because it's not just. There will be times when we're just chilling by the pool or on the beach or something. It's not, unlike. But anyway, so I'm reading that again. And then I'm reading this one, Sarah Waters, is Little Stranger. And so I was just watching Books and Things, his video. I think her name is Kate, or Catherine, I don't know. But she was listing books that she's, like, her favorite books that have, like, that may or may not have supernatural element. I don't remember if she mentioned this one or not. And we were just talking about it, and I commented, and I was talking about how I'm one of those people that, I admit that I'm almost disappointed when there's not a real supernatural element. Like, I like when there's a and she responded, first someone else responded, so I talked to them, and this guy was saying how he feels the same way I do, and then she responded with talking about how she's completely opposite, and I think I'm going to comment back to her about it, but maybe start a discussion. But this one is like a little bit of a ghost story about this rich family who, it's post-World War, I want to say the First World War, and it's this family, a mother and her two children, her daughter and son, and the son was in the war and has PSTD. Of course, they wouldn't know that, and he's starting to see things in the house. Things are moving and misplaced, and so he thinks the house might be haunted, and his sister thinks is not sure if she believes him or not. But of course, logically, it's like, how can you believe in that and everything? And he's probably just imagining these things. And then, but our narrator is the Dr. Faraday, and he has a bit. He's basically been trying to treat the son who had, of his war wounds and everything, like, and the son, what is his name? Roderick was telling him about him seeing all these things, and of course he, as a doctor, a man of science, naturally assumes that, that Roderick is going through a sort of PSTD. I don't think they know about PSTD, but he knows Roderick is having problems and is probably imagining things. And so, now, like I said, I kind of hope that there really is a ghost. Like I said, I get disappointed when it turns out there's not really a ghost. It's just, there's a logical explanation. Or at least make the ending inconspicuous, where it's like ambiguous. That's what I mean, ambiguous, where it's like it could have been a ghost after all. Like, you hint at the author, or maybe the author hints at the possibility that there was a ghost all along, but then they're like, there's no like tangible thing. It doesn't, like, she doesn't spell it out for you that there's an actual ghost. It's kind of more like a little bit of a maybe there is, maybe there isn't kind of thing. At the end, I would rather than them saying, oh no, he really was going crazy, there really isn't a ghost. Like, I just get so frustrated when turns out that there's a logical explanation, which, like I said, is apparent, which Books and Things, like, I don't know if her name is Kate or Catherine or something, but she's the complete, like I said, she's the complete opposite, where she appreciates that there is a logical explanation. So, and of course this is one of those books where it's like, it doesn't have that many chapters. I think there's like 15 or 16 chapters, but they're long chapters. So sometimes I don't always like that. I prefer the fast-paced, shorter chapters. But I guess it depends on the story itself. But I really like it. I love Sarah Waters' Rinceall. This second book by Sarah Waters. The other one being that I read. The other one is The Paying Guest, which I really love. First of all, I love the setting of that one. That's the 1920s in London, England. And it's a romance, like I said, you know, I do some romances I will make an exception for. But I'm not going to read just any romance. Although I always get worried because if Terry, you're watching this video, I'm sure if you look up Sarah Waters, you'll be like, oh, you read Sarah Waters, well, why don't you read the books that I like? You know, the romance books I like. I'm very particular about the romance books I read. Now, you could argue that I don't read a lot, so it's like, I think, because her books so far have felt more literary. And it's not just about, like, the romance doesn't take center stage. Although I don't think Sarah Waters is not a romance writer per se, because this one doesn't have romance in it. Although I do kind of ship Dr. Faraday and Caroline, even though he's like 10 years older than her. Part of me was kind of hoping that they would get together, that they're going to end up having feelings for each other. I mean, it's not even halfway, so that could still happen. But like I said, it's not just about, definitely The Paying Guest is more romance than this one. This one so far hasn't had any, but like I said, there's kind of, maybe it's my imagination, but I feel like there's hints of it between Caroline and Dr. Faraday. I don't remember what his name is. I don't know if it says his name. But I don't know. Look, I always, when I scan the pages a little bit, I always end up reading it. More than I should let myself get a little spoiled for what's coming. But anyway, like I said, this one's more of a ghost story, and the differences between the rich people versus the middle class. And there's, of course, PSTD in the story. So, I definitely, either way, so far I've liked her. And then it is another one that I need to get back to. But again, it's like with horror, it's kind of depends on the mood I'm in for horror books. But anyway, so that is what I'm reading. That's probably what I will be reading on Tuesday when I get off, and tomorrow afternoon, and Monday afternoon when I get home from work, because I'm actually getting home at noon this time. Right at noon. Not actually at 12. I'm not going to get off at 12, but I'll get off at 12:15. So I'll be home at least by 1. So anyway, I would love to hear what you guys are reading currently. Feel free to share in the comments below. And like I said, and if you are reading any of the books that I mentioned in this video below, in this video, please share below in the comments and your thoughts on them. Don't spoil it for me, but just, tell me if you liked it or not. And please subscribe if you like the video, and give it a thumbs up if you like the video. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later.